Hundreds of custodians marched through the USC Village today demanding higher wages. We'll take you to the protest.
And Starbucks lovers will have to find a new place to pick up their coffee on an upcoming May Day. Why Starbucks is temporarily closing its stores nationwide next month.
A panic in the sky erupted after a Southwest flight turned deadly today. We hear a survivor's story of the emergency landing.
And breaking news, a former First Lady has passed away. Annenberg TV News is next.
Live from USC, you're watching Annenberg TV News.
Former First Lady Barbara Bush has passed away at the age of 92. Good evening, I'm Hamda Salhoot.
And I'm Tommy Brooksbank. Annenberg Media's Nyanika Kapoor joins us from the Media Center with more on her life. Nyanika?
She was the wife of one president and the mother of another. The Bush family announced this past weekend they would no longer seek medical treatment for Barbara Bush's health problems. Barbara and George H.W. Bush were married longer than any other presidential couple in American history. She was known for her feisty spirit and candor. She was a champion for family literacy, and her foundation expanded and created more than 1,500 literacy programs nationwide. In a tweet, former President Bill Clinton says, quote, "Barbara Bush was a remarkable woman. She had grit and grace, brains and beauty. She was fierce and feisty in her support of her family and friends, her country, and her causes. She showed us what an honest, vibrant, full life looks like. Hillary and I mourn." Madeleine Albright says, quote, "Barbara Bush was a woman of incredible determination, wit, and compassion who embodied America's best values. My deepest condolences to the entire Bush family, especially her devoted husband, George." During a commencement speech at Wellesley College in 1990, Bush said, quote, "At the end of your life, you will never regret not having passed one more test, not winning one more verdict, or not closing one more deal. You will regret time not spent with a husband, a child, a friend, or a parent." Her funeral is scheduled for Saturday in Houston. Tommy, back to you.
All our thoughts are with the Bush family tonight. Thanks, Nyanika. USC's custodial staff is demanding higher wages. Today, they marched on campus, threatening to go on strike if they don't get a new contract very soon. Dozens of Trojans joined hundreds of custodial staff today in a march on campus.
As students, we have so much power. Our voices are so important.
Students, the administration, all need to unify together to demonstrate that we are supporting this part of our family.
Now the numbers here show just how widespread these demands are. This line stretched from Tommy Trojan all the way down Truesdale Parkway. From there, the protesters marched to University Village, shutting down streets and handing out flyers to students along the way. Their message has been the same since February: higher wages and more healthcare coverage from their employer, Aramark.
They've invested millions in a beautiful facility. They should invest it on the people who take care of the facility as well. We know that the university has the resources. They should provide better to the workers.
Aramark says it hopes to reach an agreement that works for everyone. But the current custodial contract expires Friday. Workers want an hourly wage of $2.50 above minimum wage for new employees, implemented over the course of 4 years. Currently, new employees generally make 50 cents above minimum wage.
I'm worried about the new janitor generation because they're going to be in the same position like us if we today don't talk strong.
This is the second protest by Service Employees International, the union that represents USC custodians. Organizers hope these protests will finally bring about change.
If Aramark doesn't meet our demands, we're going to encourage the worker to turn it down, the contract, and we head into possible strike if we have to.
In a statement to Annenberg Media, the university says it is not involved in contract negotiations with custodians.
Starbucks announced it will be closing all 8,000 stores on May 29th to train its employees on racial sensitivity. The decision comes after 2 black men were arrested in a Philadelphia Starbucks on trespassing charges. Starbucks will devote the day to educate all 175,000 of its employees on racial bias in the workplace. This will be geared toward preventing discrimination in Starbucks stores. Starbucks CEO Kevin Johnson released a statement that said, quote, "I've spent the last few days in Philadelphia with my leadership team, listening to the community, learning what we did wrong and the steps we need to take to fix it. While this is not limited to Starbucks, we're committed to being part of the solution. Closing our stores for racial bias training is just one step in a journey that requires dedication from every level of our company and partnership in our local communities."
I think a lot of customers will be mad. Just on the other side of being an employee, a lot of people take their coffee very seriously.
I don't think it's necessary so much. It's just kind of to save face.
This is, a corporate responsibility. It shows responsibility to the society.
This decision comes after a, quote, boycott Starbucks movement. We spoke to a diversity expert at USC who said taking preliminary measures is necessary to prevent future incidents like this one.
I hope Starbucks doesn't end its efforts at the conclusion of next week's training. It is going to take far more than one afternoon to help all of its employees more deeply understand systemic racism, as well as their own deeply held, deeply seated racial biases. It can't be just the one-time, one-afternoon training.
Starbucks will also provide training materials for about 6,000 employees at Starbucks cafes in grocery stores and airports.
One passenger died and 7 were injured after a Southwest Airlines plane made an emergency landing in Philadelphia. One of the engines blew apart in midair as it was heading to Dallas from New York.
All of a sudden we hear this loud explosion, and it's like within a span of 5 seconds all of the oxygen masks deployed. And then just a few seconds later another explosion happened, and it was a window that just completely exploded.
2 passengers prevented a woman from being sucked out of the broken window. She was given CPR, but she died from her injuries.
I want to extend my deepest sympathies for the family and the loved ones of our deceased customer. They are our immediate and primary concern, and we will do all that we can to support them during this difficult time and the difficult days ahead.
The woman who died was a Wells Fargo executive from Albuquerque. She's the first passenger to die in a U.S. airline accident since 2009.
The Supreme Court struck down a federal law provision today that called for mandatory deportation of immigrants who've been convicted of violent crimes. President Trump's nominee to the court, Justice Neil Gorsuch, sided with liberals against the law, saying, quote, "Vague laws can invite the exercise of arbitrary power by leaving the people in the dark about what the law demands and allowing prosecutors and courts to make it up. This law before us today is such a law." A representative from the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights thinks this is a step in the right direction.
There needs to be a more critical understanding of really what does violent crime mean. It could have positive impact on folks that have criminal convictions that have formerly been considered crimes of violence, but would no longer be.
Today's ruling will make it more difficult for the federal government to deport immigrants under the Immigration and Nationality Act. The number of undocumented immigrants in California with driver's licenses has hit 1 million. The milestone was celebrated in a downtown LA ceremony this morning.
It was right to fight for driver's licenses. It was right to fight for the undocumented. It is an American right and duty to fight for immigrants, because this nation is not anything if it is not a nation of immigrants, and we chose to do what is right.
Supporters of the 5-year-old law known as AB 60 say the roads are safer for everyone. That's because those here illegally don't have to worry about getting caught driving without a license.
I'm part of the million with my license. Thank God that they kept fighting for us. We are the community here, and we're going to keep fighting with what we have in our country to give us a second opportunity here.
Some activists hope to streamline the application process and protect drivers' information from immigrants and customs enforcement.
The city of Los Angeles is one step closer to legalizing street vending. Annenberg Media's Anissa Claiborne shows us how the new proposal could affect the LA community.
The LA City Council voted 11-4 to approve a plan to legalize and regulate street vending. One street vendor says that she looks forward to doing her job in a safe environment.
I have been harassed by the business owners. Things like charging me for being on the sidewalk. I've paid a lot of extortion money. We think that if it becomes a reality in 60 days, I think it is going to be much better to be working on the street.
Street vending is an important part of LA's culture, but this is one of the only major cities where street vending has not been legalized. Those opposed to the plan wanted to give business owners more say about where street vendors can set up.
I'm very concerned about us acting quickly today, having made a very significant change yesterday that impacts businesses that have not had an opportunity to weigh in.
But today, no business owners showed up to the council meeting. This new proposal allows 2 street vendors per block. Now, the businesses in the areas can oppose the location of these street vendors, but they cannot push them out. One community activist says today's vote will expand economic opportunities for many people.
Legalizing vending would uplift a lot of working class women, a lot of single mothers, a lot of people that would otherwise not have a means or a way to raise their family.
The planning department and city attorney will write the new vendor law that will be voted on by the city council. For Annenberg Media, I am Anissa Claiborne.
One extra day before you have to pay. The IRS is extending the deadline to pay taxes.
My left stroke just went viral.
From winning Grammy Awards to earning the prestigious Pulitzer Prize, Kendrick Lamar is making waves for the hip-hop world. We'll tell you why next.
And one mother shares her story about becoming an American.
Guess what? I have some news for you. There's free food right there, junk food. You see that truck? Oh, jeez. It's a 2 Michelin star chef. All for free, ladies and gentlemen. All for free.
Here we have a panzanella with summer vegetables and pesto. Enjoy. How we doing?
Fantastic. So what do you got going on underneath that plate there?
This food is really about to be thrown away.
Yeah. Bro?
Is there something wrong with this food? Where did you get it from?
From farmers markets. They put aside the ugly vegetables and the ugly fruits.
Carrot top, soft avocados. It was all food that was going to be discarded.
Even the drink you had is made from like a little bruised peach. Did it taste a little bruised?
Great. That was good.
The average person throws away 24 pounds of food a month.
That's a lot.
Isn't that a lot? Go visit SaveTheFood.com for more information. Thank you. Junk food time!
Adventure can be found anywhere, but the best place to start is in the forest.
I spy something beginning with S.
Snow?
No.
Snow-covered trees.
Nothing to do with snow.
Head outside to discover incredible animals and beautiful plants that come together to create an unforgettable adventure.
Wow.
So grab your loved ones.
Don't even.
And explore a world of possibilities.
Come on, this way.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find the closest forest or park to you.
The IRS is pushing tax day to tomorrow after the agency's website crashed. Annenberg Media's Jordan Winters is here to make sure you can take advantage of the extension and ensure everything is squared away. Jordan?
That's right, Tommy. Some college students think that they may not have to pay taxes just because they're students, but it depends on their status as dependents. Now, what really matters is your age. If you are under 24, a full-time student, and you receive financial assistance that is more than half of your income, you can be considered a dependent. Now, dependents don't have to pay taxes, but if you made $5,950 or more last year, then you do have to file. Now, the IRS actually considers anyone over 24 to be an independent. Now, this group is required to file if they make more than $9,750 or more. The college students have to be aware that certain work study and scholarships can be considered income. But taxes are not all about shelling out your hard-earned cash to the government. I talked to Professor Thomas Griffith about how you may be getting back some money after tax day.
They may have been at a job where they have had monies withheld to pay tax. If so, they should be sure to file a tax return so they can get a refund. And some students, because even if you don't pay any taxes, the government may send you a check if your income is at the right amount.
Now, if you want to put a little extra effort into getting some money back, you have to file 10980T, also known as a tuition statement, instead of just a W-2. It could help you get tax deductions or tax credit if you're eligible. Now, if you want to get a tax refund, you need to file a 1040EZ. Now, so the IRS direct pay site started having problems today, but the agency says that taxpayers are still able to submit online and should act as if it's business as usual. And if you miss the deadline, you may request an automatic 6-month extension to file your returns.
All right, thanks for that, Jordan. Well, Hamda, it was such a nice day today. I'm really hoping this weather is here to stay.
It was kind of windy yesterday, but let's toss it over to our weather anchor, Paula Alonze, for more. Paula.
Thanks, Hamda. So yes, the wind did subside this morning, leaving us with a nice spring day. It's currently 66 degrees with a low humidity of 32, so it's, nice and cool at the moment. And then for tomorrow, we'll see that in the San Bernardino area, it'll be 74, and all throughout the region in the mid 70s. And then over in the Thousand Oaks area, it's going to be 72, and then cooler at the beach in Malibu at 65. Over here in the USC area, tomorrow it'll be 72, so in the low 70s, and then in the low 60s along the coast and at LAX. For the 5-day forecast, we see that on Thursday, things dip down a little bit at 65 and it's pretty cloudy, but it hikes back up by the weekend to be 78 on Saturday and 79 on Sunday. Once again, the kids have spoken in Florida. 8 plaintiffs ages 10 to 20 filed a joint lawsuit against Governor Rick Scott for what they say is ignoring that climate change is an issue. The kids say climate change is the biggest danger facing their generation and others to come. 18-year-old environmentalist Delaney Reynolds is one of 8 young people filing this suit.
Sooner or later, there might not be parts of Florida around. Florida is at risk of extinction, and that's why these plaintiffs are so passionate about taking this case to court and proving Governor Scott wrong. There are children who are standing up for what they believe in all over the planet, and we are standing up for what we believe in, which is climate change and climate justice.
Florida Governor Rick Scott released a statement saying, quote, "The governor signed one of the largest environmental protection budgets in Florida's history last month, investing $4 billion into Florida's environment." Reynolds says that $4 billion is not going towards climate change and is merely a deflection tactic Governor Scott is using to win the upcoming election. So we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, great to see students getting involved in things that they're passionate about. Thanks, Paula. Well, a South LA native has taken home the Pulitzer Prize, but the choice by the Pulitzer Board is the first of its kind. Annenberg Media's Ryan Thompson shows us why Kendrick Lamar's new honor is so monumental.
And the start actually starts right here.
From the streets of Compton to on stage at Coachella, Kendrick Lamar has quickly become one of the most celebrated rappers of all time.
1, 2, 3, go!
He raps about the hardships of life, and on Monday, the 12-time Grammy Award winner earned new historic praise.
The prize is awarded to Damn by Kendrick Lamar.
The Pulitzer Prize in music, and the first ever for any rapper or pop artist.
They were able to think about the whole breadth of music versus the idea of the traditional award going to classical musicians or even jazz.
Lamar grew up in Compton public housing, surrounded by gangs, drugs, and violence. Now, his Pulitzer Prize-winning album, Damn, tells a powerful tale of pain and prosperity, particularly for Black Americans and those living in South Los Angeles.
I think Damn picks up where NWA in some ways left off.
Lanita Jacobs is a professor of anthropology and American ethnic studies at USC.
Coming from Compton and repping his people so vehemently and repping himself with such vulnerability is just special. For the prize committee to recognize the layers and the depth and the hidden messages and the messages that just ain't for everybody except for those who know, and award him for that is amazing.
The president of Lamar's label and close friend, Punch TDE, congratulated his friend and had a message for the world. Speak with anything less than respect in your mouth for Kendrick Lamar. For Annenberg Media, I'm Ryan Thompson.
Well, Hamda, I heard there's a baseball game tonight.
Yes, there is, Tommy. Hey, Jody, are you planning on going?
Of course I'm going, guys. It's the first of 2 midweek matches for the Trojans as they face their crosstown rivals this weekend.
And I'm live here at the Staples Center where tonight the LA Kings are fighting for their playoff lives.
sweatpants, peanut butter? A big screen television. You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles. What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Tonight, USC baseball hosts UC Santa Barbara at Dado Field. Last time these two teams met, USC pulled out a 9-3 win. Another win tonight against the Gauchos will put USC on the right path for their weekend series.
I told the kids right now that, granted we'd love to have a couple more wins, but I like our chances moving forward. I like where we're headed, and we just have to put a couple good games together midweek heading into UCLA to get some momentum.
So right now it's the bottom of the first, and after Blake Sable scored off of a Lars Newberg sac fly, the Trojans are up 1-0. Now after tonight's match, USC will head out to Loyola Marymount for a rescheduled game from earlier this season. Now diving into the pool, the USC women of Troy have secured the top spot in the MPSF tournament. 2 players also picked up weekly honors. Paige Hochschild was named Newcomer of the Week, and Amanda Longun was named Player of the Week. Hochschild, as Newcomer of the Week, picked up her record 7th award of the season. She notched 5 goals over 2 road matches. Longun picked up her 2nd career Player of the Week honor thanks to her 16 saves against the Cardinal. The team wraps up the regular season against number 4 UCLA this weekend.
Just play our game. We got to come as prepared as possible, and we'll spend all week preparing for them. I think it always comes down to who wants it more, and we have a team that's incredibly competitive and has a lot of fun when it plays together.
After the Crosstown Showdown against the Bruins, they'll head up north to Berkeley for the MPSF tournament before hosting the NCAA Championships in the 2nd weekend of May. And it's been 4 years since the LA Kings hoisted the Stanley Cup. But despite being on the verge of elimination, Kings fans are filling up LA Live for tonight's game 4. Our sports correspondent Angel Viscara is out there. Angel?
Thanks, Jody. Well, I'm live here at the Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles, where tonight the LA Kings will be fighting for their playoff lives against the Vegas Golden Knights, currently trailing 3-0 in the first round Western Conference matchup they currently find themselves in. And here in this building behind me on Sunday, it was a very electric environment. The fans are going crazy. But after taking a 1-0 lead in the first period of Game 3, the Golden Knights scored 3 goals in the 3rd period, and eventually that put away the Kings. And while the Kings certainly find themselves in a dire situation, down 3-0 in this series, I actually had the chance to bounce around to LA Live and chat with some optimistic Kings fans and Knights fans alike before the game.
I'm scared. I'm so scared, but we're going to root our Kings on and got to do it. Go Kings, go.
Yeah, I kind of hope they lose, so I go to Game 5 in Vegas. So it's going to be a good game, though.
I call it pathetic. I don't agree with the way the NHL handed them a championship team when every other team every year from an expansion level has had to work their way up, and this one was handed the golden team.
And really quick, 2 things worthy of notice, surely. At this time last year, the Vegas Golden Knights, their roster did not even exist yet, so the fact that they could be getting their first playoff series win tonight is pretty incredible. And for the LA Kings, only 4 teams in NHL history have ever come back from a 3-0 deficit. One of those teams actually being the 2014 LA Kings, as they came back against the San Jose Sharks before eventually winning the Stanley Cup playoff. that season. So who knows, Jody? Maybe tonight's the start of something very special for these Kings. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Angel. Tommy and Hamda, back to you.
Well, still to come, it took 47 years for one woman to become an American citizen.
Her story next.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation.
America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
迷惑ボーイ。
ここはなんとかしなくちゃ。
スーパーカインドの交通機関案内。
When you ride on the bus or rail, don't eat popcorn, meat, or kale. Food can smell and it makes a mess. Keep LA Metro clean and fresh. Come along with me, let's go. It's time to ride on the Metro. When eating food causes problems, you know Super Kind will be there to solve them. Come along with me, let's go. It's time to ride on the Metro. When eating food causes problems, you know Super Kind will be there to solve them.
More than 7,000 people became American citizens today in downtown LA. Annenberg Media's Cole Sullivan introduces us to a mother from Panama who's waited for this day for 47 years.
Sonia Colon always puts her family first.
They told me, take a minute. Yeah, but I don't have the minute.
But today is her day.
I didn't sleep either. I was up since 4 o'clock this morning.
Her day to become an American.
When my husband was alive, he said, everybody's American in the house. Why you don't go and get it done? And I didn't put into the time. I put into the children. It's my time. First is family.
And today, her family is putting her first.
Very proud of her. I just told her that.
But even after moving here 47 years ago from Panama, her daughter says the naturalization process wasn't easy.
She was asking her questions that made my mom feel uncomfortable, did you marry your husband for your citizenship? I mean, they were married over 40 years and he already passed away.
That naturalization interview last year made her mom cry.
That I will support and defend.
But today, her tears were tears of joy. And when the ceremony's over,
so this is the way they greet you when you come out?
Yes, a hero's welcome.
You are special.
For Sonia Colon and the other 7,125 newest Americans. For Annenberg Media, I'm Cole Sullivan.
Thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Tommy Brooksbank.
And I'm Hamda Salhoot. Good night.